Welcome back to another awesome day, day 70 of the 100 days of learning algo trading with Python. In previous video, we have learned about how to install the FreqAI and some basic configuration. And from this video onwards, we will try to learn all the basic fundamentals of the FreqAI and how it functions, so that everybody who is using this, they will be able to have a very good intuition, right? So if you can see on the screen, we have a very good documentation of FreqAI. So here is the introduction. In this, you can learn about all the features include, then the general approach and the important machine learning vocabularies, and then the prerequisites. But I know it becomes so overwhelming for anybody who is new to this field. So in order to grasp the concept from the basic, I will try my best to give you the best possible content, and let's deep dive into this topic, right? So what we will do, first, let's take a screenshot of this image so that I can explain you. Let's say I'll just copy and paste this in OneNote, right? So if you can see on the screen, we have the overview of the algorithm which is being used in this FreqAI, and it is explaining the data processing pipeline, right? And how it uses this. But I know it is not that easy, right? It is just a picture, and if anybody is new to this field, he or she will not be able to understand this properly. So here is the first step, in which it contains the user strategy, right? Base features, target, predictions. Then it goes to the expanded features. Then the part comes of the feature set engineering, which contains like the clean features. Then it goes to the adaptive learning. Then again, it like the model trains and make predictions. Then the predictions goes to the post processing, and then again it becomes a loop. So let's understand these all one by one, right? And let's start from the basic, which is machine learning. What is machine learning? So machine learning is a field of computer science that uses statistical techniques to give computer systems the ability to learn with data without being explicitly programmed. So what happens in traditional programming? We have data and a program, right? And we give this data and program to a computer, and it gives us the output. But in case of like so many things where the data is changing, right, the value is changing, in that case the static program cannot work. So in case of machine learning, what we do, we give data as well as output to a computer, and in return it gives us a program. So we can use that program and we can make future predictions. Okay, now let's quickly learn some basic difference between AI, machine learning, and deep learning, because nowadays people think that it's different, but it's not different. These all are interconnected, right? Deep learning is the subset of machine learning, and machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence. So what is AI? AI is the ability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. And we know that this is not possible because human behavior is very, very complex, right? But still we are trying, and we are trying our best to do that. Then the machine learning is the subset of AI. And what is this? Application of AI that allows a system to automatically learn and improve from experience. So what we do in this, we give some data, and on the basis of the data, it makes some predictions. Then we come to the deep learning, which is application of machine learning that uses complex algorithms and deep neural networks to train a model. So we will learn these all in future, but just keep in mind that these are not different. These all are interconnected, right? AI, ML, and DL. Okay, now we have this overview of the FreqAI. But before that, let me tell you a few more things. So let's understand the types of machine learning, right? Types of machine learning. So as of now, we will differentiate between the types based on the supervision needed. Supervision needed, right? So we have supervised machine learning. Then we have unsupervised machine learning, and we also have semi-supervised machine learning. And last but not the least, we have reinforcement machine learning. Now let's learn all these one by one, and you will see that all these are somewhere used in this model. So if you understand this, then you will be able to at least understand what is happening in this diagram, which FreqAI is mentioned on the website. Okay, let's write the types of supervised machine learning, which is regression and classification, right? And when we talk about the types of unsupervised machine learning, which is clustering, then we have dimensionality reduction, and we have anomaly detection, and we have fourth one is associated based learning, right? Okay, let's learn all these one by one. Okay, now let's learn about the first, which is supervised machine learning. So what is supervised machine learning? So what is the meaning of this? Okay, so we have input and we have an output, which means, let's say you fetch the OHLCV data from any website. So let's quickly draw a table here, right? OHLCV, you know that, right? What is this? Open, high, low, and close. And let's say it is 0123, 012, 012, 012, right? So you can consider this as input, right? Which will give to a machine learning model. And based on this, we will try to predict a output, right? Let's say in output, we have, let's say, high, low, right? Means bullish or bearish. And this you can consider as the output, Y. So when we have both input and output, X and Y, or you can also say X means input and it is also known as the features. So don't get confused when you see all these words. And when we talk about Y, it can also be known as the output, or this is also known as labels. So in supervised machine learning, we have both the input and output, and with the help of our machine learning algorithm, we try to find the relationship between both the input and output, right? Hopefully it's clear to you. It's not that difficult. Now, when we talk about the types of supervised machine learning, we have two types, right? One is regression and another is classification. Okay, so to understand regression and classification, first we need to understand the types of data, right? And when we talk about this, generally we have two types of data. One is numerical and another is categorical, right? So in numerical means, let's say in output, we have a profit percentage, and let's say 1%, 2%, 3%, means we have a numerical value. We have a number, right? So you can say, or you can write, let's say profit percentage, or you can say the future OHLCV values, means anywhere when you have a numerical value. And when we talk about the categorical, it means we have a categories, right? So you can say, let's say in the future candle, it is going up or down, right? Or you can say bearish and bullish. So when we have two categories, not two, it can be any category, but the data is in category, right? So similarly, when we have numerical values, it is known as the regression. And when the data is categorical, it is known as the classification. It is as simple as that, right? I just try to explain this in the very layman language, but hopefully it's clear to you. Okay, now here you can see the base features, which can be like anything, but here in this context, we have the OHLCU values, right? These are base features or the input values, right? Then when we talk about the targets, these are also known as the labels, right? Labels or the output. So here the target could be anything. Let's say we want to predict the future profit, or we want to predict the future values, these one, right? These can also be targets, the future candle values, right? Then we have the predictions. So based on these things, we want to predict the future values, right? Now, let's understand the second part, which is unsupervised machine learning. So what is this unsupervised machine learning? Unsupervised machine learning. And we know that in unsupervised machine learning, we do not have the labels or the targets. We have only input values or the features. So here, let's say we have only the OHLC values. So now I think you are able to differentiate between the supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. In supervised, we have both input and output, or we can say we have both features and labels. But in unsupervised machine learning, we have only features, right? So, okay, now when we talk about the types of unsupervised machine learning, we have the first one is clustering. Clustering means grouping data points into clusters based on similarity. Example, like grouping stocks with similar behaviors. Let's say we have a data which contains multiple stocks. So what we do, we group the stocks with similar behaviors. Let's say we have 5 stocks with this similar behavior, which can be anything, right? Let's say try to group them based on the moving average. So we have 6 stocks in one group and another few stocks in another group. Let's say this is time and this is moving average, right? So this is the basic layman definition of clustering. We will understand these all in detail in upcoming videos. Now, the second part is dimensionality reduction. So, what is the meaning of this? This is reducing the number of variables in the data. Example, simplifying complex data for better analysis. Let's say in input, we have OH, LC, and let's say we also have V. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Means 5 inputs, or we can say 5 dimensions, 5D data. So whenever we have more dimensions, it becomes difficult and it becomes resource consuming, or it becomes like high cost to a machine learning model. So we always want to reduce the dimension, but without losing the important information. So we always try to reduce the dimensions. So there are multiple methods of that, and that is known as the feature set engineering. We will learn that in very detail because it's very important, right? The feature set engineering in upcoming videos. So it means, let's say, just for example, let's say if we are able to work with only 3 columns, then we will remove these 2 if they are not impacting our outcome, right? So that is the basic definition of dimensionality reduction. Now, the third is anomaly detection. What is the meaning of this? It is identifying unusual data points that differ significantly from the rest. Let's say spotting abnormal market behavior. So for example, we have a stock. Here is the, let's say, time, and this is price. So basically it is going in its normal behavior, right? And on one day it spiked up like this and came back. So we can say this is abnormal behavior, right? Because we know that the range of this stock is generally here, but why this shooted up at this point? So we want to find out the cause of that abnormality, or we can say that is the abnormal behavior, and we want to remove those values because those values impact a lot in our outcome, right? So let's say we have these values here and some value is somewhere here, right? So we can consider that as like anomaly, because generally our value are like this, right? Or let's say if the value is here, then that can also be considered as anomaly. So there are multiple ways of that also, and we will learn those methods, techniques also to find out the anomalies. Now, the next is association based learning, in which what happens, we find the relationship between variables. Let's say identifying correlation between different stocks. So we have multiple stocks and we try to find the correlation between them, right? We have multiple stocks and like we create a table and we try to find the relation between them. Let's say it is 1, 1, 1, it is 0.8, 0.7, it is 0.8, 0.7. So it's like that. So we try to find the correlation between 2 or more stocks, and it's like that how much the value of one stock is impacting the other one, right? So we will learn this also, but for now, hopefully it's clear the types of unsupervised learning. Now, The next is semi-supervised machine learning. Semi-supervised machine learning. So it is nothing but the mix of supervised and unsupervised machine learning. It is like having some labeled data to guide you, but also exploring and learning from a lot of unlabeled data, right? So let's say when we talk about the trading, so where we can use this technique. So let's say we have a small amount of labeled data, like the trade with unknown outcomes, and a large amount of unlabeled data. So let's say we have only few data, OHLC, right? And we have label for only few rows, let's say 2 rows, right? Then we have a large amount of, let's say 20%, right? And the remaining is unlabeled, means we do not have this value. So with the help of this data, it has both label and features, and with the help of this data, it will try to predict the value of these labels. So it's a mix of like supervised and unsupervised learning. So it can be used in improving signal detection. It can be also used in sentiment analysis for trading. Next is reinforcement learning. What is this? So it is like training a pet with rewards and penalties. So when we talk about the computers, which are also known as the agents, learns by interacting with an environment and receiving feedback in the form of rewards or penalties, or we can say profit and loss. And when we talk about the trading, like the algorithm learns to make a series of decisions that maximize cumulative rewards. Example, trading profits, right? So it is really helpful in like automating trading strategies, and also it can be used in portfolio management. So let's say we have created a model, and let's say if it is giving profits, then it will be given rewards, and based on that it will try to make it more efficient. And if it is giving some like the losses, then it will get some penalties, and based on that it will try to minimize that behavior. So we can say rewards and penalties, right? So if it does better, which is profit, then it will get the rewards, and if it gives losses, then it will get penalty. So it will try to minimize this behavior, and it will try to maximize this behavior. So this was the just layman definition, right? And hopefully it's clear to you, and you can see that in the overview we have learned this. Then now we will try to understand these feature set engineering. So I'll try to like make a full series of all these things. Please let me know how do you want to proceed, just as like simple introduction, or you want a detailed understanding of all these things. Because if you have the understanding, then it will definitely help you in understanding these and create your own strategies, right? And then we will proceed with this adaptive learning, and it will be really very interesting. So stay tuned, and if you have any doubt, you can connect me on Discord or Instagram, and we can discuss that further. So for this video, this was it. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye, take care, have a nice day.